Hey guys, this is Andrew Perlott with rawfoodhealth.net, and I'm sitting around with a bunch of beautiful fruit, not because realistically a bunch of beautiful fruit normally sits on my coffee table, but because I want to talk about my 10 favorite fruit with you today. I've traveled pretty extensively around the world, including living 2 years in Southeast Asia, so I've tried a lot of delicious fruit. A lot of people ask me what's my favorite, and I can't give them an answer because I don't have a favorite. I can, however, give them a top 10 list. And obviously, I realize this is entirely subjective, so my top 10 fruits in the entire world may not be everyone else's, but I think you may find some that you'll want to track down once you see my list. So check it out. Star apple, or kaimito, is really an interesting taste experience because not only is it nice and creamy and really delicious, but the texture is really amazing. And when asked to describe it, I've generally described it as sex in your mouth. I'm not talking about that it tastes like sexual fluids. I mean that the experience of eating it is kind of like sex in your mouth. I realize that if you haven't actually had one, you're going to have a hard time understanding what I mean, so the best I can do is to ask my girlfriend Brittany and our friend Itzy what they thought. Itzy, you're eating a star apple. Is it true that star apple is sex in your mouth? Brittany Taylor, sex in your mouth?
Sex in my mouth.
No about it.
Let's get it. Let's get that right there. Go.
Look at that.
So you've probably had mangoes in the United States from the grocery store. All I can tell you is that these pale in comparison to Namdok Mai mangoes, which is the dominant cultivar in most of Southeast Asia. They taste sweeter, the consistency of the flesh is much nicer. They seem to have more flesh per mango, but that could be my imagination. And they're just generally amazing. If you want to see a video of me feasting on an entire huge meal of Namdok Mais, then see the link in the corner. Near Siem Reap in Cambodia, in the jungle surrounding Angkor Wat, the ruins of Angkor Wat, I found a fruit that was neither immature jackfruit, cempedak, or meringue, but appears to be related to all of those species. The taste was pretty crazy. It tasted kind of like jackfruit, but with an oniony thing going on. Very creamy, very sweet, very distinct. It's been suggested to me that it may be a jackfruit cempedak hybrid, but I really have no way of knowing. All I know, it's delicious. I've never had anything like it, and I wish I could have more. This is everything that you need to know about Mame Sapote. Mame, carry my babies! I guess everyone's had watermelon. It's amazing, it's sweet, it's tasty, it's refreshing and hydrating. I don't think I really need to say anything else about it. It's common, but amazing. Between the American and Japanese persimmon, you can grow persimmons everywhere from northern Florida all the way to southern Canada. But if you asked most people in North America what the persimmon was, I bet less than 1 in 20 actually would know what it was. Persimmons are certainly up there in the top 10. They are one of the most amazing fruits on earth. They are so sweet and creamy and filling, and I don't understand why they're not more popular. The persimmon basically makes the apple look like a chump. Alright, that's probably a little harsh, but just try a persimmon. Wait until it's super gooey, and when you push your finger into it, it just like goes right into it and pushes past the skin. It's super gooey that way. That's when it's super ripe. Eat some persimmons and do yourself a favor. I think it's very telling that I'm recommending the tamarillo or tree fruit to you guys because I'm allergic to the entire nightshade family of plants, of which tamarillo is a member. On the rare occasions when I have access to it, I often will eat this despite getting periodic rashes or acne outbreaks. So how does it taste? Why am I so tempted by this fruit? Well, let me tell you, the first time I found it, I was in the mountains of Bali, up near the village of Munduk, and I went to the village market and I got myself some tamarillos. So the first time I tried one, I thought, that's revolting. The second time I tried one, I thought, that's revolting, but it's kind of interesting. And the third time I tried one, I was pretty sure that it was an awesome fruit. By try number 4, I was pretty much sold on it as a favorite fruit. So here's how my girlfriend reacted on her third try of a tamarillo.
You don't look impressed.
No, I think I'm starting to see what you mean about it.
Growing on you?
Yeah, it's weird, but it's like I just had this like feeling like I want more of that.
Good. That's the reaction you should be feeling.
It's really hard to classify the taste that I'm experiencing, though.
It is really a strange fruit.
It's a flavor I haven't had before.
Here's the deal with cantaloupe. Besides being really delicious and juicy and all that, it's also the only fruit that makes me feel giddy with happiness. I don't mean that in it tastes so good it makes me happy sense. I mean that it's the only fruit where when I eat it, I feel myself becoming happier. I have no explanation for this, but really nice ripe cantaloupe seem to do it for me. I have met 1 or 2 other people who say the same thing, but most people say they don't have this effect. But for me, they're key. I could try to tell you about mangosteen, but instead I'm just going to read you a quote from one of the first European explorers to taste it. His name was Eric Majorberg. "The mangosteen has only one fault. It is impossible to eat enough of it, but strictly speaking, perhaps that is a defect in the eater rather than in the fruit." Personally, I can't stop eating the queen of fruit, but I also have no idea why you'd want to try. Who doesn't like a juicy, sweet, tree-ripened peach? The thing about nectarines is that you get all the amazingness of the summer treat that is the peach, but you also don't get all that hair on the peach, which after you've eaten like 10 peaches, it's kind of rough on the mouth. When I was living in Southeast Asia, there were only 2 fruits that I missed. One was the persimmon, and the other one, the peach or nectarine. I want to be clear, I am not squeamish when it comes to durian. I think it is delicious beyond belief. Yet, unlike every other fruit on this list, with the possible exception of maybe tamarillos, when I eat durian, I start to feel maybe a little hungover the next day, a little bit foggy-headed. Maybe it's the sulfur content, maybe it's the fattier nature of it, but whatever it is, I don't quite feel as great after eating durian as I do after eating all these other wonderful fruits. That being said, I still feast on durian when I find it. I'm just, a little bit hesitant to put it on my top 10 list. Check out this clip of me feasting on durian from 2011.
Durian, but the flesh is in the shape of the human liver. The human liver, if you're looking at anatomy illustrations, exactly like this.
So do you subscribe to that idea?
I
That
don't whatsoever, no. Do you? It's good. You want a piece?
Well, in this case, it seems kind of hard to imagine, but,
You just get
Oh, there's
You know what they say about mixing durians?
No.
Go for it.
it.
Go for it.
Go for it under all circumstances.
Right.
I just made a humani mantong salad in my mouth.
Nice.
Hold on.